Now, who would have thought that all it would have taken for Sydney Sweeney to come out against hate and racism after taking part in a white supremacist dog whistle jeans advert was the annihilation of her entire career? It was after this car crash interview in which she refused to condemn or acknowledge the racist white supremacist views that are being associated with her American Eagle jeans ad after the subsequent historic flops of her recent movies. Sydney Sweeney has apparently decided that racism is bad. She actually does have something to say about it now that she's been associated directly with some of the most disgusting, toxic ideas known to man. Probably because she's got a new movie coming out really soon that is also predicted to flop. I don't know Sydney Sweeney personally, I don't care to know Sydney Sweeney personally, but the fact is, racism was not a deal breaker for her. She was told to her face about the disgusting white supremacist ideas that the far right were associating her with and making her a symbol of, and she was asked if she had anything to say about that, and she said, no, I don't. If you know anything about the family and background that she comes from, that won't surprise you in the slightest. She's making this bland, generic statement about being against hate because her publicist told her to. She has decimated her public image, her previous projects have flopped, her future projects are predicted to flop, and to my knowledge following this, Zendaya said she won't be doing press tours with her for Euphoria season whatever. I don't watch that show, I don't care. To make it even better, American Eagle that previously stood by her have ditched her in favour of Martha Stewart. Even the company that defended the obvious white supremacist dog whistle of their Sydney Sweeney jeans advert has decided that she is too toxic to continue associating with and have gone with someone who market tests much better among a wider variety of people. At the moment, the only market that is good with Sydney Sweeney right now is white supremacists. As she desperately pivots to try and change that and save her career, it's so important that everyone remember that this was her initial response when she was challenged on the decisions that she made as a performer, as an artist, whatever. I'm personally not that interested in seeing The Housemaid. I don't think anyone else is either. You know what they say, in a world of Sydney Sweeneys, try your best to be a Sabrina Carpenter. Follow for more.
It's time for Sydney Sweeney News! She has done an interview with People magazine. I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. And of course that issue was, do you support white supremacy? Are you a white supremacist? And to quote once again, I'm against hate. So she's finally made a statement that she's against hate, weeks and months later after the whole controversy started. I'm not a Hollywood publicist, but if I had a client who partnered up with a brand, and then because of those ads, people were saying, hey, you might be a white supremacist, I would call said person and go, you need to make a statement today. But your inability to speak out and just answer a simple question when you understood what the deal was tells us a lot. A lot of people aren't going to believe this apology. They're not even going to believe it's really an apology or a statement. We said, I'm against hate. What does that even mean? I do not know her. I do not know her business dealings, but it's a bad look when any person on this planet, when asked, do you condemn white supremacy? If you can't answer, yes, I condemn it. I'm against it. It's wrong. There's issues. And I'm thinking she's hoping those next few movies she's in don't tank at the box office, but maybe that's me being a cynic. But she's against hate, everybody. Print it.
5 months of getting blind praise from wannabe neo-Nazis on the internet, Sydney Sweeney has bravely come out as against hate, and this has a lot of people asking, what in the crisis management is going on here? I swear to God, you cannot make this stuff up, because just earlier this week, we got the news that Sydney Sweeney's manager, Jennifer Miller, left the Paradigm Talent Agency and moved to Brillstein Entertainment Partners. What do you know? Also this week, we got the Euphoria Season 3 premiere date as the marketing for this begins to ramp up. You know, this week, we also got a big push for her new movie, The Housemaid, after back-to-back-to-back catastrophic flops with Americana, Eden, and Christie. Mix in Madam Web and Echo Valley over the past 2 years, and this is a career that is in flux, hence the change in management companies. Do you think this movie will be her most successful this year, which is a low bar, but I think this is the exact type of slop that her newfound fans want to see from her. Miller's been with her for a long time, and I'm sure is not thrilled about the trajectory of her career post becoming a white supremacy poster child. Craziest thing is about this sad attempt at damage control 5 months later is just how disingenuous it actually is, saying absolutely nothing. Quote, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Wrapping up with the most nothing PR statement of all time, she said, quote, anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press but recently I've come to realize that my silence regarding the issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. See, we're not dumb because we just saw her on camera get asked basically to disavow white supremacy, and what she said is, when I want to talk about something, I will. This is lifeless, effortless, thoughtless, see-through damage control, and all she had to do 5 months ago when she saw the first backlash and saw the literal neo-Nazis supporting her was say, guys, look, this was just about genes. I do not support white supremacy. I don't support the people that are supporting me. All it had to be was that, but that is not what she did. So now this is where we are.
So remember just a few weeks ago when Sydney Sweeney was asked about her response to the whole American Eagle ad, and she said, well, if I have something I want to say, I'll say it. Well, now in an exclusive interview with People magazine, she's saying that she does not support the views that some people have attached to the ad and the overall campaign. She goes on to say that many people have assigned motives and labels to her that just aren't true. Anyone who knows her knows that she leads with kindness, and she is against any sort of hate and divisiveness. And in the new year, she hopes that we all can focus on what connects us, not divides us. Sydney, you are so full of shit. I don't give a damn how many publications your publicist runs to try to clean this up for you. I know what you are. She just sat up there at that GQ interview with that smug ass attitude when the interviewer gave her multiple chances, mind you, to denounce white supremacy, and she chose not to. The only reason I think she's trying to backpedal now is because with all the bad press and her image, I think it's probably starting to affect her money, either directly or indirectly. Because when most of her movies flop at the box office, her MAGA fan base don't come out to support her projects, and she's not particularly charming or likable in any regard, I wonder if she's starting to become a bit of a liability, a social pariah, if you will. Especially with season 3 of Euphoria about to come out and rumors circulating of a certain castmate not liking her and not wanting to do any press with her, allegedly. It is more advantageous for her career to try to walk some of this back now, but it's too late. At least for me personally, it's too late. I've seen what I needed to see, and I know what you are.
Sweeney tells people that she doesn't support the views that people connected her American Eagle campaign to. She said, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. She said, anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. Some people think that the box office numbers and awards season may have humbled her. She did say the White House hyping it was surreal. This person said, curious the timing considering Critics' Choice Awards just announced their nominated actresses. Some people just think it's a little bit too late for her to make this statement months later. People said, but she laughed when that interviewer asked her to her face, oh, all right. They said low-key, so many people gave her the chance to be like, ooh, that was in poor taste. Low-key thought the outrage was a bit much initially, but she quadrupled down on it months ago, allegedly.
Sweeney is in full-blown panic mode and The Housemaid hasn't even come out yet because after 3 film flops and MAGA losing interest in her, she's suddenly apologizing for the American Eagle ad. You know, the one that she swore spoke for itself. But now she has something to say. Here's what actually happened though. When that ad dropped and people called it white supremacy coded, she brushed it off, didn't care, didn't address it, because at the time she thought she had the MAGA fan base backing her for life. Then after that, we get Christie, a film that deals with misogyny, domestic violence, and sexual identity. And the right took one look at that and said no, because the themes go against literally everything that MAGA stands for. So the left didn't want her, the right didn't want her, and Christie tanked. Add 2 more flops on top of that, and suddenly she's walking into The Housemaid with no loyal audience left. And funnily enough, right after The Housemaid press tour starts, now she's apologizing for the ad. Now she wants to clarify the misunderstanding. Now she's trying to crawl back to the people that she alienated. She didn't apologize because she understood the problem. She apologized because her only remaining fan base, if there is any, can't keep a 4th movie from flopping.
Oh, so now that all her movies are flopping, Jenkins with ripe chest fruit want to come talk to us again. No, go on somewhere, Sydney Sweeney. Don't nobody want nothing to do with you. Like, I told y'all she was mid. Look at them movie ratings. Trash. Straight trash. Whatever happened to, when I have an issue, I'll speak on it. or when I have an issue, I'll speak on it. I forgot how she said it. Y'all know how she sounds, right? With that weird ass voice she has. Guess the PR came in and was like, hey, you done fucked up now. We need you to go and smooth that shit over real quick. I have great chins. Y'all made this girl famous off a show where she plays a teenager and she's nude. Did y'all think of that at all when y'all did this? Euphoria ain't even that good, bro. Go somewhere.
She told us that this was a topic she didn't want to speak on. Why is she speaking on it? We have moved on. We are just going to let your career go to... Why are you talking to us, girl? We do not care. The ad spoke for itself.
We'll see that Sydney Sweeney has finally changed her tune and is now apparently, quote-unquote, against hate. In case you missed it, she just came out with a new interview with People magazine, an exclusive, and she has actually addressed the American Eagle backlash in like a meaningful and direct way, and basically said, yeah, it's unfortunate that people ascribed me as like a X, Y, and Z from that ad, and basically assumed that I had those views, because it's the opposite. I don't have those views, yada, yada, yada. She didn't go so far as to explicitly condemn, white supremacy, as it were, but this is certainly the biggest statement she's made in terms of like pushing back and saying, I'm not that person that people think I am for doing this ad. Here's the thing. So 2 takeaways. One, it seems that she and or her team have finally waken up and realized, yeah, this narrative about you is not going away. People don't like you. And not only that, but they're like labeling you as many things. And this seems to be hurting you in your career. We need to actually say something and address this instead of just being snarky and coy and kind of like brushing it away. That's not working anymore. So good for her and good for her team. In my opinion, whoever her publicity team is needs to be fired. Perhaps they were fired, but this is genuinely like PR 101. Sydney, and more specifically her team, should have been able to read the room on this like a full 4 or 5 months ago when this all first started up, right? And they should have realized, yikes, this is bad. The optics of this are bad. Let's get ahead of this and actually tackle it head on. They didn't do that. So now Sydney's finally in December coming around when she's got a lot of projects on the horizon, right? Euphoria's coming back around. Whatever other movies she's got going on for 2026, because 2025, thus far for her, has been a bomb. Everything for her has bombed. And her December movie looks like it's going to bomb too. It's coming up against Avatar. That's probably going to flop as well. I don't even care about the politics of it all. Just from a PR standpoint, this was so avoidable in my opinion. This is so avoidable. Anybody could have seen this coming from a mile away, especially in the climate that we're living in. And now that she seems to have done a 180 and is kind of changing her tune, people are calling it out and saying, bullshit, we know who you are. We've seen your true colors. And I'm sorry to beat a dead horse here with this topic of Sydney Sweeney, but it's just so ridiculous to me. And again, it's not so much the politics, it's just the PR. And whoever her team is, whoever she's hiring as a publicist, manager, agent, whatever else, dummies, like true idiots. None of them were able to read a room on this particular topic. Plus, you got Sydney Sweeney now cozying up with Scooter fucking Braun of all people. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's like the worst person you could possibly get involved with at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's advising her. Guess what? Scooter's not going to save you, so good luck.
She must have just got a new publicist. She is just now saying that she doesn't support the views that people connected her American Eagle campaign to. The full quote is, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. Should I do the voice? I don't support the views some people choose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Okay, I'm not going to do the full voice anymore. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against the hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding the issue has only widened the divide and not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of divides us. Which, Sydney, me too. Or should I say, Sydney's publicist, me too. So no, she didn't have the stance of never respond to positive or negative press, because when the movie started tanking that she thought was going to get her an Oscar nomination, she had a lot of stuff to say about that. And look, if this is the new Sydney Sweeney take, then I'm glad. I'm happy for it. Even if it's fake, I would rather have our celebrities faking having empathy and being nice than going with this new cultural norm of just being a jaded ass. I'd rather have our celebrities apologize when they do shitty things than just stay silent. I don't like that being the norm either. So even if this statement is fake, I'm glad it's being made, honestly. If she didn't write it, who cares? She found someone who can write it, and now here it is. That's what you should be doing as a celebrity. You should be trying to come off as a good person, not this, oh, when I have something to say, you'll hear from me. This is not the time to be that person. So I'm just glad to see a step in the right direction, honestly. Because then when people look up to celebrities or see people who they think are as aspirational and glamorous, that if they say, oh, like they're a good person and they like value human life and human beings and want equality, then like that makes the world a better place. So even if this is a fake publicist damage control statement, at least it's something positive in the ether and not negative.
6 months of genes are passed down from parents to offspring. Sydney Sweeney has decided to change her tune on her infamous American Eagle jeans ad in a New People exclusive. I don't know what new PR person she got, but now she's just sharing a very emotional response to this controversy, saying, I'm not labels that all of these people have put on me, I'm against hate. Here's her full statement, and I have so many questions because if she didn't decide to double, triple, quadruple down on this whole thing, most recently, a month ago, in her GQ interview, I think people would actually respond better. Like, had she come out with a statement right away that was similar to this, I think there was a chance that it would not have blown up as much as it did. But with her refusing to talk about it, or also just like really making vague statements to double down on this entire American Eagle jeans thing, it made it a lot more divisive in the media. And now the damage is done Sydney Sweeney. The people that are against her are against her. The people that like her are liking her. But this statement 6 months later, I feel like is not going to move the needle that much. I honestly feel very confused as to why it was put out right now. I mean, she's like in the midst of a press tour for a movie, but she's already done like 3 movies since then, and she hasn't spoken up about it on any of those press tours, or if she did, it was like, I wear jeans every day, so I'm gonna do a jean ad, which like, like whatever. But seriously, I find this so strange, and it just leads me to believe that she like hired a new PR person. But what are your thoughts?
Sydney, why? Why speak up now? Because why does it matter? Other than the narratives are probably hurting your bottom line. I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views. Many have assigned motives and labels. What are the views and what are the motives? Sydney. Anybody knows me knows I bring, people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. Then why did you not denounce white supremacy when it was directly asked to you in a GQ interview? All of this is fake news. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press. Racism is negative press? You don't stand up against racism? You don't want to clear that up? Girl, this ad happened months ago. You don't care about the deafening silence and the widening divide. You were directly asked about racism, about white supremacy, and you decided to say nothing. You decided to say, if you have something to say, then you'll say it. You said what you needed to say. All of this is PR. We're too smart. In the age of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, we're too smart.
Hi. I think that Sydney Sweeney, and I'm invoking an energy reading here. I've been doing it for 30 years. Hi, Aunt Rose. I work by referrals, so yeah, I started really, really early with energy readings. But I want to jump right here at the end. All statements are alleged, and say what I read off of Sydney Sweeney is that she was forced to do this. Her movies were bombing. They weren't doing well, and she was forced by a publicist to do this. This publicist also is related to her. She has one that's a real publicist, and there's another, but there's this other lady related to her who acts sort of like a publicist. She kind of went to school for something like that, and one of those 2-year universities. Nothing wrong with that. I went there too before I went to a 4-year, and she advises her as well. And she's like an aunt-like figure or step-aunt-like figure. I don't know. but that kind of energy. But she advised her. She said a lot of people think you're prejudiced and it's hurting your films. You have these feature films coming out, and your castmates and the housemate will blame you if they boycott you. And Sydney is also afraid that the cast of Euphoria is gonna blame her if they have an off season, especially Zendaya, which she both respects and loathes at the same time. Seriously. And it has more to do with Tom Holland than it does with Sydney's racist views, because Zendaya was actually surprised by some of her views, going along with white supremacy, not calling it out, saying that she thinks that when she has something to say, we will hear, like she's Jackie Kennedy or somebody important like that. You'll hear. But anyway, Sydney did something inappropriate with Christy Martin, and I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, had a lot to do with how Christy Martin defended her, allegedly. Ruby Rose was right, and Ruby Rose was ready for a fight. This apology, Too Little Too Late, is not Sydney's views. It was written by somebody else, and she felt forced and or compelled to. I would say forced and compelled to. Those are not her views. She is a white supremacist, and when that statement that she doesn't like hate is she doesn't like hate against her and people like her. Sydney, you have already told us who you are. We believed you. It is too little, too late, but you chose it. You chose it. So, Sydney, when we want to believe that you are not who you have shown yourself to be, you'll hear about it.